Gladys, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. I'm really happy to have you here. So let's start from the very beginning. Could you tell a bit about your educational background?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm from Mexico, so my native language is Spanish. But since I was little, well, not little, but since I was like 9 years old, my mom started to tell me like, you need to learn English. You need to learn English, like apart from school. And then it was her idea. So she said like, yeah, well, let's try to do extra lessons for English. And then I started when I was 9, but properly I will say when I was 12. It's like when I started to get involved into the language, and when I start to say like I really like to learn English. So after that, I started to learn English since I was 12. And then I really like it, and I decided to take the career. So I make a BA in English language at the Universidad Veracruzana. So yeah, I just finished it in January, last January. So I graduated, and I also get some a certification, a B1 certification before starting university. So after the university, I need to like do another one, but I'm still working on it.
I see. So you study at the university from 2019 to 2025, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the year.
What are important skills you developed during that time?
Well, I think one of the most important is because when I was like using the lessons, English lessons that I was going, it is probably English, just learning English. But then at the when I was at the university, they teach us like what is behind the language or why of the language. So they teach us like history or culture, or they try to take you like hand by hand to go with this or to understand the things. Also, of course, like what is behind the language, a little bit more like connections, and first of all understanding your own language, and then well the English. So I think one of my favorite subjects at university was literature and culture. Like
Mm.
we took British culture and we took American culture as a subject, and I was really into it. I really like it. It is like having history in English, and it was like a big thing of it. Also, literature, because we can read a lot of authors and writers that were like really important, and like make you realize what was the language, or how was society working before, or like how it has been developing around.
I see. Can you tell a bit about your journey? How did you first get into English coaching and language work?
Yes, well, also at the career, they properly teach us how to teach English, because we have three different approaches. So it is literature, it is translation, and it is teaching. Um, like formal, it was at
Mhm.
university. When I start to have my teaching classes, and when I have to do like um, practice, and I have to go to a classroom and make sure that I know how to, I don't know, how to be a teacher, make sure
Mhm.
how to do the contents, or how to do the lesson plan, or what should I say to the students. But when I was 16, the elementary school where my brother was, they were looking for an English teacher, and
Mhm.
I was 16. I was not at university. I was, we will say, a teenager.
Uh-huh.
But then my mom told me like, why you don't try it? I used to have enough time before high school to do it, and I said like, well, maybe I can try to help the little ones to learn English. And then I start to help at the elementary school with the kids. I think they were fourth grade, fifth, and sixth grade. So like they were almost starting junior high school. So I started with that as a volunteer. Obviously, it was not a work because I was 16, but I wanted to see if I really like it, or if that was my way. And then I realized that I really like it, like spending time with the kids, teaching, and especially teaching English, because at that point I was thinking about studying teaching too, but just like general teaching. And then I realized that mixing the language that I was studying and then the things that I like together, I could become an English teacher. And I said, like, oh, well, that's a good opportunity. So, well, when I finished that year, because it was during a year, I was like, well, I think I'm gonna do this degree, this career, and yeah, that was my final decision until I was like 18 that I have to choose my university. It was easy for me because I was already like watching on it. And then at university, I was giving some like extra lessons or helping some of the students around, or my brother's friends that were struggling with English. I was helping them. And then between some holidays, I used to go to summer camps in USA. So I have to pay to go, and I
Yeah,
didn't want
yeah, I see.
like it was like a complete thing. So I started working because I wanted to go, and then I started working as an online English teacher. And well, that has been my career until now, just online English teacher for a few times.
I see. So your experience teaching English started from your 16, right?
Yeah.
What was the feeling the first time you entered classroom?
Well, I don't know. I was so happy because I really like it to spend time with kids since a lot of time ago. Like I realized that I wanted to be a teacher for kids, and then when I entered to a classroom, I was like so happy because I was like, I feel like we are on this. Well, not on the same age, obviously, but I feel like I'm not old enough, but even though I can like try, or I can
Ah,
try to challenge myself and do something else, like I feel that I was helping them and doing an extra thing for them. So I was nervous, of course. I was like, they were like 12 years old and saying like, "Hey, teacher," and I was like 16, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I did it." Yes.
nice. What do you think is the biggest barrier for students learning English, and how do you help them overcome it?
um. Well, I don't know. Well, depending on the context, because in Mexico, um, it could be a little bit difficult to find a proper school where you can learn English. So it is just to find that. And if you learn English, you learn like the basic like
Mm,
vocabulary,
mm,
verb to be, and colors, and I don't know, use some essentials verb. But if you want to go like deeper, you need to find extra lessons that sometimes it's not that easy to pay. And I'm so grateful for my mom, especially, that give me that opportunity. So I think that the like the main barrier that we can find is that like you have to really be into it, or to really have an interest in the language to do it, like to keep developing yourself. Because if you take it easy, you can take it easy, but not that easy. It's like, well, you have to really maybe study a little bit, find a place where you feel comfortable too, because not you don't feel comfortable everywhere. So you also need to practice a lot in that. At the start, at the beginning, it could be like, well, I'm
mm.
nervous, or I don't want to talk in English because I'm afraid, or because I'm
I
embarrassed.
see.
It's embarrassing or something like that.
I see. What's one thing you believe every English learner should focus on that many people overlook?
I think they have to put their or to set their own goals. Like, not think about how difficult it could be. Now think about where do you want to be, or what do you want to achieve with it. If you have any dream, what it could be helpful for. What other doors can the English open to you, and like all the opportunities that learning another language, or learning especially English, can give it to you. Especially the goal, something that maybe inspire you, or maybe yeah, makes you feel better, or makes you feel like, okay, I'm studying English because I want this. So
Mm.
see the final step.
I see. Do you use storytelling or creative techniques in your coaching sessions? If so, what, how?
Yeah, well, because I started to use it when I was at university, because as I say, we used to have literature lessons. And I really like it. I used to have pretty good teachers, and I'm so happy for that. So they mix together like the language part, the linguistic part with the teaching, and then also the culture and the arts and all of this stuff, and storytelling, especially because they will say like, okay, the homework for today, it would be to write a novel. Well, not a novel,
Mm,
of course, but to write a tale, or to write a chapter of a novel, or to do maybe a poem in English or something like that. And some something important that one of my teachers said is like, we can do it in Spanish, and it's better to do it in Spanish for us, because we
mm,
are native Spanish speakers, and we feel in Spanish, and we have our experience in Spanish. And the part that he said about we feel in Spanish, it's completely true. Even though we speak in English, or well, we can speak English, speaking in Spanish is also part of ourselves. Like, I can feel it in Spanish. I don't know if you can understand this part, or if I'm explaining it a little bit.
mhm,
But then when we are at the classroom, we can say, well, you feel in Spanish, but what happened when you want to share that feeling in Spanish that you have with some other person? And then you have to immerse yourself into the culture and all the things like that. So for the teaching, it's like, maybe you can share your experience, but not your experience like, what do you see? Maybe share, how do you feel? Um, I don't know, what do you smell? What was your favorite part, but not like from the outside, like even though from the inside.
all right, I see. You're a published short story author, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have.
What themes do you enjoy exploring in your writing?
Well, I like to share my experience, but since the point of view where I don't know, where maybe another people can find themselves there. I'm a pretty nostalgic person, so I'm like, well, I live this moment. And for example, when I was studying English, one of my goals was like, I'm studying English because I want to go to New York once in my
Mm,
life, and then if I go to New York, I need to speak in English because I
mm,
was. And that was like my goal when I was a girl. So a few years ago, I had the opportunity to visit New York for my first time, and I was like, okay, this is the happiest thing, that my little old me will be like so proud of it. And then when I came back, I tried to share that with my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I'm so happy because I finally did what I was like. It was my biggest dream of my whole life."
mm,
And then it was like, how can I share that feeling, not use the experience? Because maybe my dream was to visit New York, but then another person is going to have a visit, I don't know, Hong Kong or any other city, for example. So, like, I want to share my experience, but not use New York experience, my feelings experience, my language maybe experience, a lot of things, like what is inside of it. So I like to share about a, if I will say feelings, but nostalgic feelings lately mostly.
mm. I
Yeah.
see.
Mhm.
I see. How would you use storytelling to help learners understand language more naturally?
Um, Something that I used to tell my students is like, if they have the opportunity to read in English, do it. Maybe it will be difficult, or if you won't understand some words, but you keep the words that you like. Obviously, there's a lot of words on a book, or there's a lot of words on a tale, but keep the words that you like and try to use it on your own language, or your own daily chatting. So there are some words that maybe catch your attention because of the meaning, or catch your attention because of the, I don't know, how do you pronounce it, or how do you use it. So you try to find maybe 5 words that you have that you really like on the book, because well, it could be an old book, so it has like the old language, or it could be, I don't know, a pretty new novel, so it can have pretty new like words. So try to find words that you like and use it in your vocabulary. And it will be so helpful because now you have a new word that you can use, and you will say like, ah, yeah, I read it on a book. So I think reading and also writing, if you want to write, you can use that words also to build your own story.
Mm, right. And Gladys, since you're a writer and storyteller, I'd love to hear one story from your journey, and maybe something that shaped you as a teacher or writer. Is there a meaningful moment you'd like to share?
Um, a meaningful moment, it could be, well, as I said before, I one of my dreams was to travel essentially, and 4 years ago, thanks to the help of my family, I have the opportunity to go to a summer camp, to work in a summer camp, and I had never in my life like properly work. It was the first time working, and it was at USA.
Mm,
So I couldn't reach and I couldn't have a contract on time. So the last camp that sent me a contract was a camp for people with special needs. And it was the first time in my life that I will work, and the first time in my life that I work with special needs. I had no idea before how to do it. It I went it my first summer. I went it and I fell in love with it. I was like, this is a thing that I want. It was like a combination of teaching, other activities, challenging myself every day. Also challenging myself with English because it was my first experience, like face to face English, and it's completely different when you are like learning. So when you have to apply it on the word, so it was like, okay, this is my first time. And then also working with another people that you can teach, you can learn from them, and it was like teach and learning at the same time. I fell in love with the process and I fell in love with the place, that I can say now that that is my second home and I'm missing so much and can't see right now. But then thanks to that, I say like I think that I make a good choice with my career and I really like my degree because it helped me to understand special needs. It helped me to understand other people, and it helped me to help another people. So when I came back, I tried to look for something similar in Mexico. It is so difficult to find something that similar, and I think there is nothing. But even though I think by teaching, you can help the people to achieve their goals. So I say it on the other way. I achieve my goal and I find another goal that I didn't know that I have, that it was working there. And I find my own place. So it was like maybe if you learn another language, you have new opportunities and you can find your place on the world. So since 2022, I went back to camp 2023, 2024. And this year, 2025, I also went back to the same camp. And it was always the same feeling. Like, I hope everyone had the opportunity to achieve their goals, first of all, and then to have like their own place to feel comfortable with. And teaching and learning, it's like helping and helping. You help them
mm.
to open them a lot of opportunities, and they help you to learn a lot of more things about the world, about different contexts, different backgrounds from the people.
Right, nice. If you could give one piece of advice to every English learners watching this, what would it be?
It would be to don't give up. Sometimes you can feel like maybe you are too shy, because I used to be too shy. You're too shy or too
That's
embarrassed.
normal.
This, yeah,
Yeah.
to practice or to try to talk. Just to don't do it. Like, you can do it. It's normal, but you can do it. And like, if you have, take all the opportunities that the world gives to you, because it is like the only way where you're gonna do it. It's normal and you can feel it like that. Just try to challenge yourself.
Right, right, nice, perfect. Where can people find your work or connect with you if they want to learn from you?
Well, if they want to find my books, they can find my name, like I under my name, that is Lulu Yanez. So I'm appear like that on Google or the research. And well, I on Facebook like Gladys Yanez, and also on Instagram, but I'm like Honolulu's.
Okay. Uh, Thanks a lot, Gladys. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for sharing your story. Wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Bye.